here's my question is, I get there now like super easily, and I realize it's like child's play now, and that's exactly what it is, literally, it's child's play. It's like when you were a kid, it's so simple. But my question is, when I wasn't, and the idea that you talk about like high-flying discs and laying new pipes to things that you maybe weren't in the past in alignment, is that sort of a fool's errand to try to do that? Or is there merit in laying new pipes to things that in the past you weren't together?
There's merit in figuring out anything that you can figure out to feel better than you have been feeling. If the consistent intention is to choose what feels the best, then what happens is better and better choices are there, but there's still always a distinction about what feels best. In other words, that's where the deliberateness comes in, and the true satisfaction only comes with deliberateness. If it feels random, if it feels like chance, or if it feels like someone else is assigning the blessings or the curses, then you're really lost. But when you understand that it is a path of well-being for you, and that as you tune yourself to it, the evidence of that tuning will reveal itself to you is not the right word, because it's always being revealed. You being in the receptive mode is.
Okay.
You see.
And you get that through meditation?
You get that through caring about the way you feel in any way you can think of.
And it just blinks up to you.
Meditation is a good way, because when you stop thought, you stop resistance. And when you stop resistance, your vibration raises. So meditation is a good way, except that there are a lot of people that spend more time in meditation than they really ever intended. Appreciation is a very good way. But we've talked about all of these things for so many years. And so many of you have applied so many processes. And today, we would like to make it simpler by saying to you, if we could just get your attention and find a way for you to believe that it's all right for you to choose what feels best to you, we would accomplish more than all of the other processes put together. But in order to do that, you've got to accept that you are worthy. And sometimes that's a big thing to overcome, because for a long time you have been basing your worthy feeling on the conditions that have been showing themselves to you. And if you're out of alignment, then the conditions have not been proving your worthiness to you. They've been proving your badness or your wrongness or your offness. And so when we talk about unconditioned, follow us. So here's this vibration. And then it is a thought, because you're in the receptive mode. Not only a thought, but an emotion. So now the manifestation has begun. Now it turns into rendezvous and circumstances and events and culminations and happenings and manifestations. So this process, this evolution of this vibration into a reality, is happening all the time. When you are consciously aware of the way you feel, so that you're watching the progress of it occurring, it is so much more satisfying than when you are just stumbling around and looking at the events that have occurred. Can you feel the difference in taking score, collecting data of a room based upon behaviors and possessions and assets and actions, as compared to the comparison of alignment in terms of the emotions? We're way out here on the leading edge. If you're following us, good for you, because we're talking about the very basis of that which you are about.
I get that. That's it.
There's something left undone here. There's a piece of something that we're right upon the brink of you acknowledging in a more significant way. So let's just stay here for a minute while we're on this precipice and see if you can find your way all the way across it.
Okay.
So you're vibrational, you accept that. And you're manifestational, you accept that. You are energy, you accept that. And you are energy evolved and manifested. So everything that you see around you is a manifestation, an interpretation, a deciphering of energy. So this world that you are calling reality, you are creating as you move along. And there are as many different worlds being created as there are creators creating the world. But most humans don't really understand that. So you become observers of conditions. So when you put yourself in a position that you have to sort out the conditions and put them in good piles and bad piles, defend the conditions against others who may think differently than you do, what happens is, in all of that conditional, oh, this is what we've been manifesting, and so let's put all the manifestations in piles and call them right and wrong and good and bad, and let's write endless books explaining how that all came about. So you get all twirled up in this hopeless jumble of reality, when all along, all you had to do, rather than form a strong opinion that you're pushing against or convince someone else of it, you could have, long before it became a condition, or even now it has become a condition, rather than turning your attention to the condition, you can find the unconditional alignment, which is what emotion is. So when we talk about unconditional love, we're talking about alignment apart from condition. Feel the difference. If I need that condition to be a certain way so that I can feel love, then I've got a lot of explaining to do to a lot of people who are in a lot of different places who may or may not hear it, which means there's a very strong possibility that I'm not going to come into alignment, because my alignment, by my standard, I'm making conditional upon you understanding. And since you came from a different place, you came for a different reason, you've got a different vortex that you've created. So I'm struggling to get you one or you two or you millions to understand my point of view, and in the process of my truly conditional attempt and manipulation, I have unwittingly, I didn't know I was doing it to myself, I've joined the vibration of the very thing that I do not want, and I have subverted my alignment. I'm not in alignment with what I do want, and now my cause becomes more and more just as I march with more and more against more and more in an attempt to make the world a better place that I could have done so much more easily if I did it before it was conditional. Or even now there is a condition, I disregard the condition and hold to my dream instead. To your dream instead. Are you understanding this a bit more?
For sure.
If you are willing to take the satisfaction from your dream and not need the condition to support your satisfaction, now you've got it. Now you understand what unconditional love is, and now you understand what path of least resistance is. The path of most resistance is to look at an object or a condition or a world event or a circumstance or a relationship, to look at it in its full-blown and blossoming form and try to fix it with words or action, without having taken time to align with who you really are, who sees it all clearly. Making sense?
That's good.
So we're not talking about not being of value in the world, and we are certainly not talking about not being part of the world. We just want you to get your horse in front of your cart instead of your cart in front of your horse. We want you to find alignment first and foremost, and in order to do that, you got to start now. You got to decide now, because whether you meant it or not, you're all twirled up in a whole lot of circumstances, a whole lot of conditions that have close to your undivided attention. So you're not, for the most part, if you're human, your animals are doing a really good job of it. But if you're human, you are not in control of your alignment, because conditions are controlling your response. We love you so much. You're knee-jerkers. You're having knee-jerk responses to conditions instead of finding alignment and then having an entirely different response to conditions. Esther would say, "Hey, Abraham, I want to explain this condition." And we say, "We've seen it." And Esther says, "But surely you've not seen it like I am seeing it."
Yeah.
And we say, "True." And Esther will say, "Well, I would like you to understand it from my point of view." And we say, "Esther, we love you so much. We're not going there. We're not going there, and you don't want us to. You don't want us to. Isn't it nice that we stay true to who you are and true to your dreams. We are unconditional. We are not letting that condition dissuade us from who we are and from knowing who you are. Oh, you sure? Because I think if you just knew this one piece of it, if you just knew this one piece of it, and we say, we've seen all the pieces of it. We've seen it all from our aligned point of view. We understand it completely. We know the value of it. We know its value to you. We hold the value of it for you. You've got to find that value too. Well, I can't do that as long as I look at that. Well, we suggest you don't look at that. You want me to ignore reality? Yes. Because you cannot create reality while you are observing reality. Because when you observe reality, you regurgitate the reality that you are observing. So this conditional stuff's starting to fit in here, isn't it? So the conditions that I'm observing, are any of them helpful? A lot of them are helpful. Can you tell which ones are? The ones that feel good? You're catching on. So you want me to selectively sift for things that feel good? Yes, unless the subject is so loaded that you can't feel good really for very long. Stay off those subjects that are loaded. Let them go all together for a while. Find alignment over things that are easy until you've got the alignment thing really securely in hand. And then, in time, you can go anywhere and look at anything and you will not lose your alignment, because you will not be threatened by it, because your alignment with what you want and who you are will be so strong that those currents will be like little gnats around your head, not like atomic bombs. You see?
Gotcha.
You do.
I do.
We're happy that you allowed us to get there with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good.